and Haley Toney up those standings.
Be super helpful, especially after they took one from Arizona, another ranked team this year that they hosted. It would just be fantastic as they're looking at their RPI and deciding who gets into that tournament.
BYU will roll out their left-hander, Gianna Mares, to start in the pitcher circle and stare down a very talented trio leading things off for the Red Raiders in Davis Elder in this game. Game 1 of 3 this weekend, set to close out the Big 12 regular season before teams head to the Big 12 tournament, and then both of these squads hoping that it continues into the NCAA tournament. Ripped hard down into right field on the ground, and a leadoff single for Maya Davis.
On the stolen base.
Elder laces a ball into the left center field gap. That'll bring around the first run of the game. Scoring easily is Maya Davis, and it's 1-0 Red Raiders. What a lift that Demi Elder has provided for Texas Tech since returning to the starting lineup.
And Davis came all the way around.
Balls and no strikes. Elder on second after her third double of the season. And a 1-0 lead in the top of the first. 2-0 pitch. Foul tip, back for strike one.
And even though Texas Tech has brought one across, Mares is really gonna.
And a strike is offered from Mares. It's 1-1.
Just off the plate, a really good pitch from Mares.
Perhaps a little confidence builder for BYU's left-hander. Just like that, 2 down. And Lauren Allred trying to add to the Red Raiders' 1-0 lead. Payoff pitch from Mares with 2 down on the ground. Play has made it short, and BYU minimizes the damage. Haley Morrow with an accurate throw over to first. Welcome back to Miller Park in the bottom of the first. Game 1 of a 3-game weekend set in Big 12 conference play. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech, number 11 team in the country, and already have wrapped up a Big 12 regular season title. Taking on upset-minded BYU, the Cougars, searching for another signature win in their
Haley Morrow.
Look at those dominant numbers. First in the country in ERA with that .88, and just the list goes on, Taylor.
And what makes her so good, too, not only does she hit spots, not only does she have the speed, she doesn't really walk people. So batters are forced to hit against her. She's not going to give up bases. You know she's going to throw strikes.
Owens thrown out after a ground ball to short, and Morrow popping up to third. So aggressive bats from BYU, putting the ball in play, but nothing to show for it thus far. Here is Ilovea Brittingham, and she's jammed inside. Big 12 leader in home runs this season with 8 back-to-back hits to open up the game, but was able to minimize what looked like could have been a very big inning for the Red Raiders to just the 1 run.
Which is going to be huge for BYU this series if they can just.
And time is called. Lindy Milkowski, the BYU catcher, out into the circle to discuss the approach with her pitcher, Mares. Kennedy gets some additional coaching from Jerry Glasgow. And back into the box, facing the ball and no strikes with Johnson on. It's hit on a line. Agbayani makes the catch in left field, and Holloman hustles back to second base. There's 1 down.
And that ball was hit well, just a little bit of a slower line drive, but you could even see Agbayani out and left a few steps in and then actually has to reach up high to catch it. Those line drives are the hardest balls to read. The depth perception on them is difficult, but does a
leading up to today's contest. 303 average on the season, and now facing the 1-1 on the ground. And she is thrown out at first as Holloman advances seed. I believe it'll be Kansas or UCF regardless, taking on Texas Tech, and then BYU looks like it could be a very interesting rivalry showdown with Arizona State.
Yeah, several other players are right there with her with 22 walks, which, like we talked about earlier, Kennedy doesn't really walk people, so very impressive by Milkowski, and hopefully BYU can use that base run she just gave them.
It's only the 32nd walk of the season by Nigeri Kennedy, compared to 220.
And get their barrel through the zone a little faster.
Check swing from Agbayani. She lays off that pitch. It's outside, 2 balls and a strike with 1 down. The Red Raiders have scored 2 runs on 3 hits. They've stranded 2. Zeros across the board for BYU. And the Cougars, again, first base runner of the game after the walk by Milkowski. Foul.
Definitely something I bet she wishes she could take back. That was just not exactly what she was going for on that play.
The Cougars will try and take advantage of a perceived break right there. It is ruled a hit for those wondering at home. The first hit of the game surrendered by Kennedy.
Fouling that ball off.
There is the off-speed delivery. Fouled off to the left side. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez, the pinch runner, on second. Agbayani on first for the Cougars. And again, Townsend just hanging around.
And the more pitches she's...
BYU's Gianna Matez. And Matez with some off-speed stuff. Misses high in the zone, ball 1. Short fly ball into shallow right field. And ultimately Matez wins that battle against Demi Elder, although it took 1 more pitch. So that will bring Bailey Lindemuth up to the plate. Baseball or softball, going back to the old Colorado Rockies days where they would literally add moisture and humidity to where the baseballs were stored to make them a little, almost denser, like you would in any other
Really?
lower
Wow.
elevation ballpark.
Yes.
Because baseballs were just being crushed out of Coors Field. Lined into left field, and that falls in front of the glove of Alea Agbayani. So Lindemuth picks her spot. BYU does have their 1 hit coming in the bottom of the 2nd. And then the Cougars had that opportunity shut down quickly with a 5-4-3 double play on a ground ball to end BYU's offensive outing in the bottom half of the 2nd. So the review continues to determine if Lindemuth did indeed leave early on the steal attempt. From what we could tell, looked like a good effort and a clean play. Or at least no infraction. Count stands at a ball and no strike. Again, outside and low, 2 balls and a strike.
And Langoliers showing maybe a bunt attempt. Could be seeing it again. Trying to move that runner from 2nd to 3rd.
Matez with the changeup. Single from Lauren Allred, her 41st RBI of the season.
And she hits that ball perfectly. A hard ground ball up the middle to score the run. Textbook play for Utah Tech.
Alana Johnson is the batter now for Texas Tech. Throw down to second. It's 5-0 Texas Tech. Alana Johnson, 2 RBI double.
And she really was out in front on that swing, but just sneaks it by the glove of Komoku down that third base line.
Not much room. Kennedy had an RBI double in her first at-bat in the second inning.
2 great changeups from Mates, called for strikes. It's a good pitch for her.
The 0-2. Nokowski, snap throw down to second. It chases back Johnson for the moment. Miranda Mansfield coming over from Texas Tech batting 5 for 14 overall as a team. That's good for a .357 clip. They've drawn 2 walks, a couple of extra base hits. And Valdez is hit by a pitch. So she'll trot down to first as that ball skims off her shoulder.
No arm guard, elbow guard, or nothing. That's when it's so tricky to be the scorekeeper, because earlier in the game, a ball went between Tony's legs, or sorry, Lindemuth's legs over at their nick.
Check swing. Make it 2 balls and a strike to the Cougars' leadoff batter in the BYU, starting at second base. And in on the left side, takes strike 1 from Kennedy. Swinging and missing for strike 2. But Kennedy works very quickly. And that pitch clock starts, and often, it starts at 20, often she's delivering by a center fielder, and a super talented one at that, batting .383. (2-1). Swinging for strike 2. As that has some movement on and curves away from the bat of Owens. Means 1. All there on Elder, but ruled just outside. 2-2. The scoring note, Taylor, the error has been wiped off the board for BYU.
That would make sense to me. I wasn't sure.
Seasons, including 6 NCAA tournaments. They had 1 trip to the Super Regionals there. Taylor, just a winning culture that he has moved from the Ragin' Cajuns over to the Red Raiders. Kennedy facing Haley Morrow, BYU shortstop, to open up the bottom of the 4th. And a changeup is rocked into left field. Home run number 19 on the season for Elo Brittingham. BYU on the board.
And honestly, not a bad idea from Kennedy. Just got Brittingham swinging and missing on the changeup. 2-0, Komoku really looking for some she can drive right now.
Strike 1 delivered from Kennedy.
And in my opinion, that's the ball to hit. It was low in.
Season. Here's a look at the tournament resume for Texas Tech. 40 wins and counting, RPI at 20. Strength of schedule, 45th best in the country, and the Red Raiders are 7-8 against teams in the top 20. A decent showing for some folks from Lubbock here to support Texas Tech softball and make a trip to the always beautiful Wasatch Mountain format. All games available on the Big 12 on ESPN+. Additionally, the championship game will air on ESPN, simulcast on ESPN+. showed you the bracket earlier. BYU right now would be the 5 seed taking on the number 4 seed Arizona State. If the tournament started today, Texas Tech would be your...
Was hustling down the line on that ball. Just a great effort by her on really a pretty routine play for BYU to still go make the effort to be back up on the throw.
There's a look at Maddie Udall-Woolley, who secured the ball at first. My ability to talk for about 30 seconds.
That's all right.
The game must go on. The show must go on.
Yes.
This is why you don't eat in between innings and in between pitching changes. Don't take a bite of anything. And indeed, it'll be a challenge. For the moment, Mansfield safely on first. We'll see if this one is upheld. One of them a home run, and here we have the call.
After review, the runner at first base, safe.
So all 3 of the challenges have been upheld.
Umpires are having a good day, calling it right.
Let's give credit to the crew where it's deserved. But was that not a full count pitch?
Yeah, I don't know. But I really think that's what's being disputed right now. I think both sides think there's different counts. I don't know.
Well, the home plate umpire, Ron Burkhart, had signaled that it was a full count. The score
was messed up. That would just be crazy.
Here we go.
The call at second base, the runner is out.
Wow! Wow! Chase ensues for the ball, but not in time to get Morrow at first.
And that's another one of those questionable balls. Is that an error on Lincoln, or is that a hit? Because she tried to get a glove on it, but just tipped off and in a spot she couldn't make the play at first.
Well, now Lincoln has to face Ilovea Brittingham. 0-2. Owens then takes a rise ball high. It's 1-2. Another foul ball, stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Another rise ball, now it's 2-2, but watch Ron Burkhart signal behind home plate right now, 3-2. Then the ball, everybody thinks it's 3-2 because he signaled routes to secure the win. Reagan Jennings, pinch hitter for the Red Raiders, takes the ball from Aguilar. Valdez with the 1-out double is safely on second. Seven-run cushion. It'll be Maya Davis facing Alyssa Aguilar when play resumes. While we have a moment, let's look at the Big 12 in the top 25, the ESPN.com/USA softball rankings. The Red Raiders, the